The massive alien ship dropped out of space near the edge of the solar system. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ship looked like a giant metal sword floating in the darkness. Behind it came 12 more ships, each one powerful, enough to destroy a city. Captain Jake Morrison sat on the bridge of his patrol ship called the Defiant. His coffee cup shook in his hand as the sensors lit up with warning signals. He had been patrolling the outer edge of human space for 3 years. He had never seen anything like this. "Sir, we're getting a message," said his communications officer, a young woman named Lisa Park. Her voice was tight with fear. "It's coming from the big ship." Jake set down his coffee and straightened up in his captain's chair. "Put it on the main screen." The face that appeared was not human. It had blue-gray skin and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle. Its mouth was full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was cold and without emotion. "Primitive species of the 3rd planet," the alien said. "You have 7 rotations to evacuate your system entirely. This sector has been claimed by the Galactic Empire. Compliance ensures survival, resistance ensures extinction." The message repeated 3 times, then the screen went black. Jake felt his heart beating fast. He looked around at his crew. They all had the same shocked expression on their faces. "Send this to Earth Command immediately," Jake ordered. "Maximum priority. Then get us closer to those ships, but stay far enough away that they can't hurt us." Back on Earth, Admiral Lisa Grant was drinking her morning coffee when the emergency alarm went off. She had been in charge of Earth's defense forces for 5 years. She had fought pirates and rebels, but never aliens. She rushed to the command center deep under the mountains of Colorado. The room was full of people running around and shouting, "Orders." General Chris Parker was already there, his face red with anger. Secretary of Defense Amy Collins stood next to him, looking pale and worried. "Show me the message," Admiral Grant said. They played the alien message 3 times. Each time it played, the room got quieter. Finally, Admiral Grant spoke. "How many ships do they have?" 13 that we can see," said Major Tom Davis, looking at his computer screen. "The big one is 5 miles long. The others are about half that size. Their weapons are unlike anything we've ever seen." "What about our fleet?" Admiral Grant asked. "General." Parker stepped forward. "We have 37 ships ready for combat. Most of them are smaller than their escort ships. We don't have anything as big as their main ship." Secretary Collins shook her head. "We should try to talk to them. Maybe we can work out some kind of deal. We could share the system with them." "Share?" General Parker's voice got louder. "They told us to leave our own home. This is our system. Humans have lived here for thousands of years." Dr. Nick Bradley walked into the room carrying a tablet computer. He was the head of the science team that studied alien life. His hair was messy and his clothes looked like he had slept in them. "I've been studying their message," he said. "The way they talk about us is interesting. They called us a primitive species. I think they don't know much about what we can do." "Admiral," Grant looked at him. "What do you mean?" "They think we're weak," Dr. Bradley explained. "Look at how they positioned their ships. They're not even trying to hide. They're just sitting there like they're waiting for us to run away." On his patrol, Ship Captain Morrison watched the alien fleet through his telescope. The enemy ships were beautiful in a deadly way. They glowed with blue energy and moved through space like sharks swimming through water. "Captain," said his weapons officer, Lieutenant Mike Chen, "I'm reading their energy signatures. These ships are powered by something we don't understand, but they're not scanning us very carefully." "What do you mean?" Morrison asked. "They did a basic scan when we got close, but they're not paying much attention to us now. It's like they think we're not a threat." Morrison smiled for the first time since seeing the alien ships. Maybe that's a mistake they'll regret. Back on Earth, the debate continued. The room was split between those who wanted to fight and those who wanted to run or negotiate. Admiral Grant listened to everyone, but she could see the fear in their eyes. These people had never faced anything like this before. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the military's computer expert, walked up to Admiral Grant. "Ma'am, I've been analyzing their technology based on the energy readings from Captain Morrison's ship. Their systems are very advanced, but they seem to follow patterns, like they've done this many times before." "Done what?" Admiral Grant asked. "Conquered other planets. Rodriguez said quietly. I think this is routine for them. They probably do this to dozens of worlds. Admiral Grant nodded slowly. She walked to the big window that looked out over the mountains. The sun was setting, painting the sky red and orange. Somewhere up there, alien ships were waiting for humanity's answer. Secretary Collins came up beside her. Lisa, we have to think about this carefully. If we fight them and lose, everyone on Earth dies. Maybe we should evacuate. We could come back later when we're stronger. Admiral Grant turned around to face the room. Everyone stopped talking and looked at her. The weight of the decision fell on her shoulders. She thought about her daughter, who was studying to be a teacher. She thought about all the children on Earth who deserved to grow up on the world their parents had built. We don't run, she said, her voice clear and strong. We've never run from a fight before and we won't start now. Send a message to all our ships. Tell them to prepare for war. General Parker smiled. What should we tell the aliens? Admiral Grant looked back at the window, where the first stars were starting to appear in the darkening sky. Tell them we got their message. Tell them humanity's answer is no. The room was quiet for a moment. Then people started moving, making calls, sending orders. Earth was going to war with an alien empire. Nobody knew if they could win, but they were going to try. Captain Morrison received the orders an hour later. He read them twice, then looked up at his crew. They were all young, men and women who had joined the space patrol to explore and protect. Now they were about to become humanity's first line of defense against an alien invasion. Well, Morrison said to his crew, looks like we're not running away. Signal the fleet. Tell them we have 7 days to get ready for the fight of our lives. Outside, his ship, the alien fleet, waited in the darkness, confident that the primitive humans would soon surrender or flee. They had no idea that humanity had just declared war on the Galactic Empire. Admiral Zexathara stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Sovereign's Wrath. The massive alien looked at the reports his officers had prepared about the humans. His 3 eyes moved across the data with boredom. This was the 47th world he had conquered for the Galactic Empire. It would be just as easy as all the others. Commander Veltoth, he called to his tactical officer. Tell me about these humans again. The smaller alien walked over with a tablet. They are a Class 7 primitive species, Admiral. They have been in space for less than 100 years. Their ships use chemical rockets and basic metal projectiles. No energy shields, no faster-than-light weapons. Our computers estimate total victory in 6 hours. Admiral Zexathara nodded. How many ships do they have? 40 ships at most, sir. All of them are smaller than our escort vessels. Their largest ship is only half a mile long. They appear to have no combat experience beyond fighting each other. The Admiral walked to the large window that showed the human solar system. The third planet looked blue and green from this distance. It reminded him of dozens of other worlds he had conquered. Soon it would belong to the Empire. Sir, said his communications officer, the humans have sent a reply to our ultimatum. Put it on screen, the Admiral ordered. A human face appeared on the screen. It was a woman with gray hair and serious eyes. She wore a military uniform with stars on her shoulders. This is Admiral Lisa Grant of the United Earth Defense Command, she said. We have received your message. Our answer is no. This is our home, and we will defend it. If you want Earth, you'll have to take it. The message ended. Admiral Zexathara laughed, a sound like grinding metal. His officers joined in the laughter. They think they can fight us, he said. How amusing. Commander Veltoth, prepare the fleet for standard pacification procedures. We will teach these primitives what happens when they defy the Empire. While the aliens prepared for what they thought would be an easy victory, Earth was transforming into a fortress. Admiral Grant stood in the command center, watching dozens of screens showing ship movements around the solar system. Captain Ryan Mitchell walked up to her. His ship, the Ghost, was humanity's newest stealth destroyer. It was painted black and designed to be invisible to most sensors. Admiral, he said, my ship is ready. We've tested all our hiding systems. The aliens won't see us coming. Good, Admiral Grant replied. What about the Washington? Commander Kate Fisher stepped forward. She was in charge of Earth's only aircraft carrier that worked in space. Her ship carried 300 small fighter drones, each one controlled by artificial intelligence. "We're ready, ma'am," Fisher said. "Our drones are loaded and armed. The AI systems are running perfectly. Each drone can think and fight on its own." Admiral Grant nodded. The humans had something the aliens didn't know about: computers that could think like people. It had taken them 50 years to build artificial intelligence, but now they had it, and they were about to use it in ways the galaxy had never seen. Captain Julie Adams joined the group. Her battleship, the Liberty, was the biggest ship in the human fleet. It was armed with rail guns that could fire metal projectiles at incredible speeds. "Ma'am," Adams said, "we've been studying the alien ships. Dr. Rodriguez thinks she's found something important." Dr. Elena Rodriguez walked over carrying a computer tablet. She looked tired but excited. "The alien ships are powerful," she said, "but they're designed to fight enemies like themselves. They use energy weapons and energy shields. They expect their enemies to fly straight at them and fight in formation." "What does that mean for us?" Admiral Grant asked. "It means they've never fought anyone like us," Rodriguez explained. "Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, but our railguns fire solid metal. Their tactics are meant to fight ships that follow the same rules they do, but we don't follow their rules." Lieutenant Alex Turner, who worked on the research ship Discovery, stepped forward. "Ma'am, we've been listening to their communications. They're not even trying to hide their radio signals. They think we're too primitive to understand them." "Committee, you understand them?" Admiral Grant asked. Turner smiled. "We've broken their communication codes. We know exactly what they're planning. They're going to line up their ships and demand we surrender. When we don't, they'll fire warning shots. Then they'll attack in a straight line, expecting us to either run away or fight them the way everyone else does." Admiral Grant looked around at her officers. These people had spent their lives preparing for war, but never against aliens. Now they had 6 days to get ready for the most important battle in human history. "Captain Morrison," she said into her communicator, "how are things looking out there?" Morrison's voice came through the speakers. "Admiral, the aliens are just sitting there. They're not patrolling or scanning, they're acting like they're waiting for us to give up." "Perfect," Admiral Grant said. "Keep watching them, but don't get too close." Over the next few days, the human fleet prepared for battle in ways the aliens couldn't imagine. Captain Mitchell's stealth ships practiced sneaking around without being detected. Commander Fisher's drones ran combat simulations against computer models of alien ships. Captain Adams' battleships loaded special ammunition designed to punch through energy shields. Dr. Bradley worked with a team of scientists to study everything they could learn about alien technology. They discovered that the Empire's ships were incredibly advanced, but they were also predictable. The aliens had been conquering worlds for so long that they had become overconfident. "They think we're just another primitive species," Dr. Bradley told Admiral Grant. "They're going to treat us like all the others, but we're not like all the others." On the 6th day, Admiral Zexathara called his officers together. The battle plan was simple, just like it had been for the last 46 worlds. "Tomorrow we'll show these humans the power of the Empire," he announced. "We will destroy a few of their ships as an example. Then they will surrender, and we will take their planet. Any questions?" None of his officers had questions. They had done this many times before. It was always the same. But this time, it would be different. This time, they were fighting humanity. The 7th day dawned clear and bright on Earth. In Mutsen space, 2 fleets prepared for battle. The aliens expected an easy victory against primitive humans. The humans knew they were outgunned and outnumbered. But the humans had something the aliens didn't expect. They had the element of surprise, artificial intelligence, and most importantly, they had never learned to give up. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The 7th day arrived with silence in space. Admiral Zexathara stood on his bridge, watching the clock count down the final minutes of humanity's deadline. His officers were calm and ready. They had done this so many times before. "Time is up," the Admiral announced. "Begin the demonstration." 3 of his cruisers moved forward in perfect formation. their weapons charged with bright blue energy. The aliens wanted to show the humans what would happen if they continued to resist. The cruisers fired their plasma cannons past Earth's moon. The energy beams carved deep craters into the lunar surface. The explosions could be seen from Earth, bright flashes in the dark sky. "Send the message," Admiral Zexthara ordered. "Tell them this is their last chance to surrender." But the human response was not what he expected. Admiral Grant sat in her command center watching the alien attack on the moon. Around her, dozens of officers worked at their stations. The room was quiet except for the sound of keyboards and quiet radio chatter. "They fired warning shots," reported Captain Morrison from his patrol ship. "Just like Dr. Rodriguez predicted they would." Admiral Grant picked up her communicator. "All ships, this is Admiral Grant. Execute Protocol Cerberus. I repeat, execute Protocol Cerberus." Captain Ryan Mitchell heard the order aboard his stealth ship, the Ghost. He had been waiting in the darkness behind an asteroid for 3 days. His ship was completely silent, invisible to alien sensors. "You heard the Admiral," he told his crew. "Time to show these aliens what humans can do. Take us in." The Ghost and 2 other stealth ships began moving toward the alien fleet. They used no engines, just small thrusters that made no heat or noise. The aliens had no idea they were coming. At the same time, Commander Kate Fisher gave orders to her ship, the Washington. "Launch all drones," she commanded. "Execute attack pattern Alpha." 300 small fighter drones shot out of the Washington like angry wasps. Each drone was controlled by artificial intelligence that could think and react faster than any living pilot. The aliens had never seen anything like them. The drones spread out in all directions, moving in patterns that seemed random but were actually carefully planned. Their computers talked to each other, sharing information and coordinating attacks. Captain Julie Adams stood on the bridge of her battleship, the Liberty. Around her, 4 other heavy ships prepared their railguns. These weapons could fire metal projectiles at incredible speeds. "Target the alien cruisers," Adams ordered. "Prepare for kinetic saturation attack." Her weapons officer, Lieutenant Sam Roberts, worked at his controls. "Railguns loaded and ready, Captain. We have thousands of tungsten projectiles ready to fire." Admiral Zexthara watched his sensor screens with growing confusion. The human ships were not behaving as expected. Instead of forming a battle line and charging forward, they were splitting up and moving in strange patterns. "What are they doing?" he asked Commander Veltoth. "I'm not sure, sir," the tactical officer replied. "This is not standard primitive species behavior. They should be fleeing or surrendering by now." Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the alien flagship. Red lights flashed on every control panel. "Admiral," shouted the sensor officer, "we're detecting multiple contacts behind our fleet. 3 ships have appeared from nowhere." "Captain." Mitchell's Ghost had reached the perfect position behind the alien ships. "Fire everything," he ordered. The stealth ships opened fire with their railguns. Metal projectiles slammed into the rear shields of 2 alien cruisers. The shields flickered and sparked under the unexpected attack. At the same time, Commander Fisher's drones reached the alien fleet. They swarmed around the big ships like angry insects. The drones were too small and too fast for the alien weapons to hit easily. "Concentrate fire on the large ships," Fisher ordered through her communicator to the drone AI systems. The drones began firing their small weapons at weak points on the alien ships. Each shot was not very powerful, but there were hundreds of drones firing at once. Admiral Zexthara grabbed his chair as his ship shook from multiple impacts. "What is happening?" he demanded. "We're under attack from 3 directions," Commander Veltoth reported. "Small ships behind us, tiny fighters everywhere, and the main human fleet is still approaching. Use the main weapons," the Admiral ordered. "Destroy these insects." The alien ships began firing their powerful plasma cannons at the human drones. But the drones were too fast and too smart. When the aliens fired at one drone, it would dodge while 10 others attacked from different angles. Captain Adams watched the battle unfold on her screens. The aliens were confused and distracted by the stealth ships and drones. It was the perfect moment for the main attack. "All ships commence kinetic bombardment," she ordered. 5 human battleships opened fire at once. Their railguns shot thousands of metal projectiles in coordinated volleys. The tungsten rounds flew through space at tremendous speed, creating A wall of deadly metal. The alien shields were designed to stop energy weapons like lasers and plasma cannons. They had never been tested against solid metal traveling at such high speeds. The shields flickered and failed as the projectiles punched through them. 2 alien cruisers exploded in brilliant fireballs. Their shields collapsed completely under the sustained bombardment. Metal fragments and energy burst through space. Admiral Zexthara felt his ship shake violently. "Damage report," he shouted. "Shields down to 30%, his engineering officer reported. "Hull breaches on decks 5 through 8. We're losing power to the weapon systems." The Admiral stared at his screens in disbelief. The primitive humans were winning. His advanced fleet was being torn apart by creatures he had dismissed as barely civilized. "How is this possible?" he whispered. Commander Veltoth was studying his tactical display. "Sir, they're not fighting like any species we've encountered. They're using multiple attack strategies at once. Their small ships appear and disappear. Their tiny fighters act independently but coordinate perfectly. And their main weapons are purely kinetic, not energy-based." Another explosion rocked the flagship as more human projectiles found their target. Emergency lights flashed throughout the bridge. Captain Morrison, still watching from his patrol ship, spoke into his radio. "Admiral Grant, the alien fleet is breaking formation. 2 of their cruisers are destroyed. The big ship is damaged." Admiral Grant smiled grimly. "Maintain the attack. Don't give them time to recover." The battle continued for another hour. The aliens tried to regroup and use their superior firepower, but the humans gave them no chance. Every time the aliens focused on one threat, another attack came from a different direction. Captain Mitchell's stealth ships struck from behind. Commander Fisher's drones swarmed from all sides. Captain Adams's battleships pounded the enemy with relentless kinetic bombardment. Finally, Admiral Zexthara made a decision that had never been made in the history of the Galactic Empire. He ordered his fleet to retreat. "All ships, withdraw immediately," he commanded. "Retreat to hyperspace." The surviving alien ships turned and fled, their engines glowing as they accelerated away from the human solar system. The humans had won their first battle against the Galactic Empire, but both sides knew this was only the beginning. Admiral Zexthara's fleet limped through space, heading for the nearest Empire base. His flagship, the Sovereign's Wrath, had holes in its armor and sparks flying from damaged systems. The Admiral sat in his command chair, staring at nothing. In 47 battles, he had never been defeated. Now these primitive humans had destroyed 2 of his cruisers and damaged the rest of his fleet. "Sir," Commander Veltoth said quietly, "we're receiving a transmission from the humans." The Admiral looked up with his 3 eyes. "What do they want?" "It's not a threat, sir. They say they want to talk." On the main screen appeared the face of a human male. He wore a clean uniform and spoke in a calm voice. "This is Captain Ben Torres, of the diplomatic ship Horizon," the human said. "We know your fleet is damaged. We want to offer medical assistance to your wounded and help repair your ship so you can return home safely." Admiral Zexthara was shocked. In all his years of conquest, no defeated enemy had ever offered to help him. They usually begged for mercy or tried to hide. "We also have something for you to take back to your leaders," Captain Torres continued. "Data about our battle and information about humanity. We think your empire should know what really happened here." The transmission ended. Commander Veltoth looked at his admiral with confusion. "Sir, what should we do? This is, unusual." "Admiral." Zexthara thought for a long moment. His pride told him to refuse the human offer. But his duty to the Empire was more important than his pride. "Accept their help," he said finally, "and take their data. The Empire needs to know about these humans." Back on Earth, Admiral Grant stood in the command center watching the reports come in from across the solar system. The human fleet had taken damage too, but much less than expected. The aliens' retreat had saved many lives on both sides. Dr. Elena Rodriguez walked up to her with a tablet computer. "Admiral, I've finished analyzing the alien technology we captured from their damaged ships. It's incredible, but also very predictable." "What do you mean?" Admiral Grant asked. Their computers think in straight lines, Rodriguez explained. Everything they do follows patterns that have worked for thousands of years. They've been so successful that they stopped innovating. They expect every battle to be the same. Captain Julie Adams joined them. Her battleship Liberty had taken several hits during the fight, but her crew had repaired most of the damage. Ma'am, Adams said, we've learned something important about their shields. They can stop energy weapons perfectly, but they're weak against physical projectiles. Our railguns punched right through them. Lieutenant Commander Sam Roberts, who had been coordinating the electronic warfare during the battle, stepped forward. Admiral, we intercepted their communications during the retreat. They're calling for reinforcements. A lot of reinforcements. Admiral Grant nodded. She had expected this. How long do we have? Maybe 2 weeks before the next fleet arrives, Roberts replied. But this time they'll know what to expect. They won't underestimate us again. Captain Ryan Mitchell walked into the room. His stealth ship Ghost had been destroyed during the battle, but he and most of his crew had been rescued. His uniform was torn and his face was dirty, but he was alive. Admiral, he said, I volunteered to lead the repair mission to the alien fleet. I want to get a close look at their technology. That's dangerous, Admiral Grant replied. They might try to take you prisoner. Mitchell smiled. I don't think so. These aliens seem to have some kind of honor code. Besides, we need to understand their technology if we're going to survive the next attack. 3 days later, Captain Mitchell and a team of engineers flew out to meet the damaged alien fleet. The aliens were surprised by human engineering skills. Within hours, the humans had repaired systems that the aliens thought would take weeks to fix. While his people worked, Mitchell talked with Commander Veltoth. The alien tactical officer was curious about human fighting methods. Your species fights unlike any we have encountered, Veltoth said. Your ships appear from nowhere. Your small fighters think for themselves. Your weapons are simple metal, but they defeated our energy shields. How is this possible? Mitchell thought about how to explain. We've been fighting wars on our planet for thousands of years. We learn to use everything we have. We don't fight fair. We fight to win. But your technology is primitive, Veltoth argued. Maybe, Mitchell said. But we use our primitive technology in ways you never expected. Your people have been conquering worlds for so long that you forgot how to adapt. Back on Earth, Dr. Nick Bradley was working with the data they had captured from the alien ships. What he found shocked him. Admiral Grant, he said over the communicator, you need to see this. The Empire has records of over 10,000 conquered worlds. They've been doing this for millions of years, and they've never lost before. Admiral Grant felt a chill run down her spine. Never? Not once, Bradley confirmed. They have a perfect record of conquest. Until now. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Alex Turner on the research ship Discovery was monitoring alien communications across the galaxy. What he heard made him call Admiral Grant immediately. Ma'am, he said, the Empire is talking about us on all their communication channels. They're calling us an anomaly. They don't understand how we won. What else are they saying? Admiral Grant asked. Turner looked at his notes. They're asking questions. How did primitive ships defeat Empire technology? How did we coordinate so many different attacks at once? How did our artificial intelligence work so well? They're scared, Admiral. For the first time in their history, they're scared. Commander Kate Fisher was working on upgrading her drone fighters based on what they had learned in the battle. Her drones had performed perfectly, but she knew the Empire would adapt their defenses. We need better drones, she told her engineering team. Faster, smarter, harder to detect. The Empire won't fall for the same tricks twice. As the days passed, both sides prepared for the next battle. The Empire was mobilizing the largest fleet in their history. They were bringing their best ships and most experienced commanders. They could not allow a primitive species to defeat them again. But humanity was preparing too. They had learned valuable lessons from the first battle. They knew the Empire's strengths and weaknesses now. Most importantly, they had gained something they had never had before, the knowledge that they could win. Admiral Grant called a meeting of all her commanders. The room was filled with the men and women who had defeated the Galactic Empire's first invasion. The next battle will be harder, she told them. They know about our stealth ships now. They know about our drones and our railguns. They'll be ready for everything we did before. Captain Adams raised her hand. What's our plan, Admiral? Admiral Grant smiled. We do what humans have always done. We adapt, we innovate. We find new ways to fight that they've never seen before. Dr. Rodriguez stood up. Admiral, I've been studying their retreating fleet. Captain Mitchell's team collected a lot of data. I think I know how to hurt them even worse next time. How? Admiral Grant asked. Their ships are connected by a central computer network, Rodriguez explained. If we can hack into that network, we can turn their own ships against each other. The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. Using the enemy's weapons against them was a very human idea. Captain Torres, who had led the diplomatic mission to the alien fleet, spoke up. Admiral, the aliens gave me a message for you. Admiral Zexathera wants you to know that the next Imperial fleet will have over 100 ships. He said to tell you that resistance is futile. Admiral Grant laughed. Tell Admiral Zexathera that humanity has a message for him too. We're just getting started. Outside, in the darkness of space, the stars shone down on Earth. Somewhere among those stars, the largest military force in galactic history was heading toward the human solar system. But for the first time in millions of years, the Galactic Empire was not certain of victory. The war between humanity and the Empire was about to begin in earnest. 2 weeks after the first battle, the largest fleet in galactic history arrived at the edge of the human solar system. Grand Admiral Korthval commanded over 100 Empire warships from his massive flagship, the Emperor's Will. The ship was 10 miles long and carried enough firepower to destroy planets. This time will be different, the Grand Admiral told his war council. We know about their tricks now. We have shields designed to stop their metal projectiles. We have jammers to disrupt their artificial intelligence. We have sensors that can detect their stealth ships. Admiral Zexathera stood at the back of the room. His defeat had cost him his command, but his experience with the humans made him valuable. Grand Admiral, with respect, you still underestimate them. These humans adapt faster than any species we've encountered. Grand Admiral Korthval's 4 eyes glared at him. They defeated you because you were unprepared. We are not unprepared. We have studied their tactics. We have counters for everything they did. On Earth, Admiral Grant received the reports about the new alien fleet. The numbers were overwhelming. 100 ships against humanity's 37. But she was not afraid. The human fleet had grown stronger, too. Captain Julie Adams now commanded a squadron of 8 heavy battleships, all equipped with new weapons. Dr. Rodriguez had designed railguns that could fire different types of ammunition. Some rounds were designed to pierce shields. Others would explode into thousands of smaller projectiles to confuse enemy sensors. Commander Kate Fisher had tripled her drone force. 900 AI fighters now waited in the hangar bays of 3 carrier ships. But these drones were different. From the first battle, they could now work together in ways that even surprised their human creators. Admiral, Fisher reported, the new drones can combine their computer minds. When they link up, they become smarter than any single artificial intelligence we've ever built. Captain Ryan Mitchell had a new ship to replace his destroyed Ghost. The Phantom was even more advanced, with stealth technology that could hide from the Empire's improved sensors. He commanded a fleet of 12 stealth ships, all invisible to alien detection. But the biggest surprise was Dr. Rodriguez's computer virus. She had spent 2 weeks studying the alien technology that Captain Mitchell's team had collected. What she found was incredible. Their entire fleet is controlled by one central computer, she explained to Admiral Grant. Every ship, every weapon, every system is connected. If we can get our virus into that network, we can take control of their own ships. How do we get the virus into their system? Admiral Grant asked. We let them capture one of our ships, Rodriguez said with a smile. A ship that looks damaged but is actually carrying our virus. Lieutenant Alex Turner volunteered for the dangerous mission. His research ship Discovery would pretend to be damaged and let the aliens capture it. Hidden deep in the ship's computers was the virus that could change the course of the war. The second battle began 3 days later. Grand Admiral Korthvali was confident as his massive fleet moved toward Earth. His ships were arranged in a perfect formation that had conquered 1,000 worlds. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Show these primitives the true power of the Empire." The Empire fleet opened fire with everything they had. Hundreds of plasma cannons lit up space with deadly energy. But the humans were ready. Captain Adams and her battleships had spread out across the solar system. When the aliens fired, the human ships were not where the Empire expected them to be. The aliens had planned for the humans to fight the same way as before, but humans never fought the same way twice. "Fire counter battery," Adams ordered. Her ships launched their new ammunition at the alien fleet. The projectiles split apart in space, creating clouds of metal that overwhelmed the alien sensors. At the same time, Commander Fisher launched her drone swarms. But instead of attacking randomly, the 900 drones connected their minds together. They moved like a single giant organism, flowing around the alien ships like water. Grand Admiral Korthvali watched his screens with growing concern. "Their drones are acting differently. Our jammers are not affecting them." "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "they appear to have developed a collective intelligence. The individual drones are sharing processing power. Captain Mitchell's stealth ship struck from 12 different directions at once. The aliens had better sensors now, but the Phantom and her sister ships had better stealth technology. They appeared and disappeared like ghosts, hitting hard and vanishing before the aliens could respond. The battle raged for hours. Both sides took heavy damage, but neither could gain a decisive advantage. Then Lieutenant Turner put his plan into action. "This is the Discovery," he broadcast on all frequencies. "We've taken critical damage. Life support is failing. Requesting assistance." His ship limped toward the alien fleet, sparks flying from fake damage. It looked helpless and defeated. Grand Admiral Korthval smiled. "Capture that ship. We need prisoners to interrogate." The Empire flagship extended a tractor beam and pulled the Discovery into its hangar bay. Turner and his crew were taken prisoner, but the virus was already spreading through the alien computer network. Dr. Rodriguez watched from Earth as her creation moved through the Empire fleet's systems. "It's working," she reported to Admiral Grant. "The virus is in their network, activating it now." Suddenly, half the Empire fleet stopped firing. Their weapons turned toward their own ships. Chaos erupted across the alien formation as ships began attacking each other. "What's happening?" Grand Admiral Korthvali demanded. "Our ships are firing on each other," his panicked officer replied. "The computer network has been compromised. We've lost control of 50 ships." Admiral Zexathera stepped forward. "Grand Admiral, we must retreat. The humans have turned our own technology against us." But the Grand Admiral refused to accept defeat. "No retreat. Use the planet killer weapon. Destroy their world." The Emperor's will charged its most powerful weapon, designed to crack planets in half. But as the weapon powered up, the virus reached the flagship systems too. "Sir," the weapons officer reported with terror in his voice, "the planet killer is targeting us. I can't stop it." The massive weapon turned toward the Empire's own fleet. Grand Admiral Korthval realized with horror that the humans had not just defeated his ships, they had captured them. "All ships emergency retreat," he ordered. "Leave the system immediately." The surviving Empire ships fled into hyperspace, leaving behind 30 captured vessels and thousands of shocked aliens who could not understand how primitive humans had defeated the most advanced military force in the galaxy. Admiral Grant stood in her command center, watching the alien retreat. Around her, her officers cheered and celebrated. But she knew this was only the beginning. Captain Torres opened a communication channel to the fleeing Empire fleet. "This is Admiral Grant of the United Earth Defense Command. We have a message for the Galactic Empire." The transmission reached every Empire ship in the fleet and was recorded for the Empire leadership. "You came to our system and told us to flee," Admiral Grant said calmly. "You thought we were primitive and weak. You were wrong. Now we have a message for you. Take it back to your Empire leaders." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "Humanity does not run. Humanity does not surrender, and if you come back, we will be ready. Tell your empire that humans are not a primitive species to be conquered. We are the species that turns your own weapons against you. We are the species that makes your technology work for us instead of you. The message ended, but its impact would be felt across the galaxy. Within days, every spacefaring civilization had heard about the humans who defeated the Galactic Empire twice. Smugglers and traders carried the story to distant worlds. Rebel groups began asking if the humans would help them fight the Empire. Most importantly, the Empire's own military leaders began asking questions they had never asked before. If primitive, humans could defeat them so completely, what did that say about the Empire's invincibility? For the first time in millions of years, the Galactic Empire issued a warning about another species. The message went out to every Empire commander in the galaxy. Species designation: human. Classification: extreme threat. Recommendation: avoid contact. If contact unavoidable, consider diplomatic options before military engagement. The humans had done something no other species had ever accomplished. They had made the mighty Galactic Empire afraid, and in the depths of space, on worlds across the galaxy, other civilizations began to whisper a new word: hope. If the humans could stand up to the Empire and win, maybe freedom was possible after all. The age of human expansion into the galaxy was about to begin.